Hello, dear friends. This is Ved Mitra, and in this video, I'll narrate The Vegetarian, a novel written by Han Kang, who has recently received a Nobel Prize, as you all know. How she received the Nobel Prize. So, this kind of importance, I realized suddenly that I should start discussing about her books. So, this video will not be of more than 20 minutes, but I'll discuss the theme and the summary in detail. I'll also discuss a summary in Hindi also. So you you stay connected. Now I'm going to start. So first of all, as it is written here, the three-part novel means the vegetarian. It's a novel. It's a three-part novel written by Han Kang, we all know, and it was first it published in 2007, and it was also first work by Han Kang, which was translated into English language. Okay, so The Vegetarian by Hong Kong is a multi-layered, intense and surreal novel that explores the psychological and social turmoil caused by Bun Bomin's radical decision to give up meat. मतलब मांस को खाना बंद कर देने के ऊपर ये इनका नॉवेल है. आई वुड लाइक टू रिपीट, मतलब कोई मांस खाना बंद कर देता है तो उस बात को इस नॉवेल में बताया गया है. It delves into themes such as autonomy, social expectation, and the impact of repression. Below is more detailed summary here. So now I'll look at about the plot overview. So the novel is divided into three parts, each told from the perspective of a different character, which closely tied to Wang He, the protagonist. मतलब Wang He ये नाम जो है ये इस नॉवेल का प्रोटैगनिस्ट है, प्रमुख पात्र है. द नेटिव हाउएवर इज नॉट फ्रॉम एंगर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. Instead, her story is recounted through the eyes of those around her, her husband, her brother-in-law, and her sister, providing an external view of her transformation and reveling. So now the part one, what happens here? The vegetarian इसमें young है husband बताते हैं. The story begins with young Hay's seemingly abrupt decision to become a vegetarian. मतलब ये निर्णय आता है कि अब हमें वेजिटेरियन बनना है. बन गए, हम वेजिटेरियन बन गए. नाउ आई विल नॉट ईट मीट, आई विल नॉट ईट एनी नॉन वेज थिंग. So her husband, Mr. Chong, describes her as an ordinary, unremarkable woman, submissive and dutiful. One day she declares that she has stopped eating meal because of violent, disturbing dreams filled with blood and slaughter. Her refusal to eat meat shocks her family, especially in the context of traditional Korean culture, where eating meat is social norm. Her husband sees her decision as irrational and frustrating. This culminates in a tense family meal where her father tries to force feed her meat, leading to a dramatic and violent confrontation. Young Hayes' refusal to conform to social and familial expectation marks the beginning of her descent into what those around her perceive as madness. She is later hospitalized for her behavior, where she becomes increasingly withdrawn. Now, part two. You don't worry about the explanation. I have added some slides to present Hindi at the last of the video, so you keep listening it. Okay. So now the part two, Mongolian mark, narrated by Young Hayes' brother-in-law. The second part shifts to the perspective of Young Hayes' brother-in-law, an artist with unfulfilled ambitions. He becomes obsessed with Young Hayes after discovering a Mongolian birthmark on her body, which inspires him to create an avant-garde art project. He convinces her to pose naked for him, painting her body with flowers and filming her, transforming her into a piece of living art. Their relationship becomes increasingly sexual and detached from a reality, while he is fascinated by her otherworldly nature and freedom she represents. Young Hage herself appears to be drifting further away from any human connection. This part of the novel blurs the boundaries between art, sexuality, morality. Young Hage brother-in-law projects his own desires onto her. Ultimately, the obsession spirals out of control when the brother-in-law's wife, Young Hage's sister, and Hai discovers what has happened. The consequences are devastating for all involved. Young Hai's mental state continues to deteriorate as he becomes more disconnected from her body and reality. No party, Flaming Trees, narrated by Young Hai's sister in Hai's. The final part of the novel is told from the perspective of in Hai's young Hai's older sister, and Hai's the most sympathetic character, and the narrative explores her internal struggles, her feelings of guilt, and her attempt to understand her sister's radical transformation. In Eyes reflects on the emotional repression both she and her sister have experienced throughout their lives. But this point, Yang Hai has been insti- institutionalized, and her refusal to eat has evolved beyond vegetarianism into a complete rejection of food. As she begins to believe that she is transforming into a tree, she yearns to be free from the physical constraints of being human, desiring instead of photosynthesize like plant. Enhance burdened with the responsibility of caring of her sister, grapples with her own isolation and the emotional toll her family has taken on her. She questions her role in her young has decline and struggles with the possibility of letting her sister go. Now themes. So repression and autonomy, that's the theme. Young Hai's decision to stop eating meat can be seen as a rebellion against her oppressive environment and the expectation placed on her as a woman. She refuses to comply with the demands of her husband, family, and society, which leads to her isolation and eventual breakdown. Her desire to transform into a plant reflects her yearning for a life free from the physical and emotional constraints of human existence. Now, the second theme can be violence and trauma. The novel is filled with the imagery of violence, particularly in young Hai's dreams and her experience of force feeding and abuse. The violence can be interpreted as both a reflection of cruelty in human society and the psychological trauma that she has internalized. Young Hai's rejection of violence through vegetarianism becomes a source of conflict, especially in a social that views her actions as divine. Now, body and identity. The novel explores this concept of bodily autonomy, and the relationship between the body and the self. Young Hai's refusal to eat meat and later her rejection of all food can be interpreted as her attempt to take control of her own body in a world that constantly seeks to control her. Her transformation into something non-human. A plant suggests a desire to escape the constraints of a physical body and the expectations placed upon it. Isolation and family. This can be also madness and transformation and the style and structure here. I'll talk about Han Kang's writing is sparse, haunting, and often surreal. The novel uses simple, restrained language to convey the deep emotional and psychological shifts occurring in the characters. The choice to narrate the novel from the perspectives of those around young Hayes rather than the from young Hayes herself aids to the sense of mystery and detachment. Hayes, her own inner world, remains largely inaccessible. This structure allows the reader to see the ripple effect of her actions on those around her, while also emphasizing the disconnect between young Hayes' inner life and the external world. Now, the conclusion here. And now I'd like to discuss in हिंदी लैंग्वेज. तो ये उपन्यास तीन हिस्सों में विभाजित है, है. सुनाओ. पहला जो भाग है इसका पार्ट वन. The story begins with the young has a seemingly abrupt decision to become a vegetarian. तो कहानी जो है ये अचानक यंग हे के शाकाहारी बनने के डिसीजन से शुरू होती है। तो उसके पति मिस्टर चोंग उसे एक साधारण और समर्पित महिला के रूप में वर्णित करते हैं, और फिर एक दिन वो कहती है कि उसने मांस खाना इसलिए बंद कर दिया क्योंकि उसे खून और हत्या से भरे हिंसक और भयावह सपने आते हैं। उसका मांस खाने से इनकार करना और उसके परिवार को झटका देता है, विशेष रूप से पारंपरिक कोरिया संस्कृति में जहाँ मांस खाना एक सामाजिक मानदंड है। उसका पति और उसका पति उसके फैसले को असंगत और निराशाजनक मानता है। हस्बैंड सीज अ डिसीजन एज इरेशनल एंड फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग। यह तब चरम पर पहुंच जाता है जब उसके पिता उसे मांस खिलाने की कोशिश करते हैं, जिससे परिवार में नाटकीय और हिंसक टकराव होता है। यंग हो का समाज और परिवार की अपेक्षाओं को नकारना और इसके आसपास के लोगों के लिए उसे पागलपन में गिरने की शुरुआत के रूप में देखता है। बाद में उसके व्यवहार के लिए अस्पताल में भर्ती कराया जाता है, जहां वह और अधिक एकाकी हो जाती है। और पार्ट 2 में दूसरा भाग यंग हो के बहनोई, जो एक अधूरी महत्वाकांक्षों वाला कलाकार है, उसकी दृष्टि से बताया गया। उसके शरीर पर मंगोलियाई जन्म चिन्ह देखकर वह यंग हे के प्रति आसक्त हो जाता है, जो उसे एक नई कला परियोजना बनाने के लिए प्रेरित करता है। वह ऐसी राजी करता है उसके लिए कि वो नग्न पोज दे, उसके शरीर पर फूलों की चित्रकारी करे और उसकी फिल्म बनाए, जिससे उसे जीवित कला के रूप में बदल देता है। उनका रिश्ता पूर्ण रूप से गहरा हो जाता है और वास्तविकता से कट जाता है। जहाँ पर जहाँ वह उसकी अलौकिकता से आकर्षित होता है, वहीं योंग हे खुद किसी भी मानवीय संबंध से दूर होती दिखती है। अंततः यह आसक्ति नियंत्रण से बाहर हो जाती है। जब बहनोई की पत्नी इन्हे इस बारे में पता चलता है तो इसका परिणाम सभी के लिए विनाशकारी होते हैं। तीसरा भाग यंग हे की बहन। अंतिम भाग इन्हे यंग हे की बड़ी बहन की दृष्टि से बताया गया है। इन्हे ने सबसे सहानुभूतिपूर्ण पात्र है और वह उस भावनात्मक दमन को याद करती है जो उसने और उसकी बहन ने अनुभव किया। इस समय तक योंग को मानसिक अस्पताल में भर्ती कराया गया और उसे लगता है कि वह एक पेड़ में बदल रही है। वह कुछ भी खाने से इनकार कर देती है, केवल सूर्य के प्रकाश और पानी के माध्यम से जीना चाहती है। इन्हें अपनी बहन की देखभाल करने के बोझ से जूझती है और अपराध बोध तथा जिम्मेदारी का बोझ महसूस करती है। वह योंग हे के पतन में अपनी भूमिका पर सवाल उठाती है। वह यह सोचती है कि क्या उसे अपनी बहन को जाने देना चाहिए। तो ऑटोनॉमी और रिप्रेशन, जैसे कि दमन और स्वायत्तता, इसकी थीम है। यंग हो के शाकाहारी बनने का फैसला समाज और परिवार के खिलाफ एक विद्रोह के रूप में देखा जा सकता है। यहाँ पर हिंसा और आघात, वायोलेंस एंड ट्रामा, शरीर, बॉडी एंड आइडेंटिटी, इस तरीके की चीज़ें हैं। तो इसके कंक्लूजन की बात करें इस द वेजिटेरियन नॉवेल की, जो हांगकांग का लिखा गया है, समाज और परिवार और व्यक्तिगत स्वतंत्रता के बीच जटिल रिश्तों को गहराई से पड़ताल करती है और यंग है कि यात्रा को पागलपन और जागृति दोनों के रूप में देखा जा सकता है। ठीक है, तो 2007 में आया है नोवेल, याद रखिएगा। इट वॉज पब्लिश ऑन 30 अक्टूबर 2007 इन साउथ कोरिया बाय चांगवी पब्लिशर्स के द्वारा पब्लिश किया गया था इससे पहले। नाउ हियर मोर डिटेल्स, इट्स अवेलेबल इन विकिपीडिया ऑल्सो। So this was all about the vegetarian written by Han Kang. I hope you liked it. If you really liked it, then you do subscribe and share to your friends. Thank you so much and stay connected. I'll find out if I find out good feedback about this video, then I'll upload some other bugs of the Han Kong soon.